What's going on, team? Marcus from Wall Street Assassins back at it again with another video. This is my 2022 guide on basically how to set up your TD Ameritrade for day trading. I haven't done this in a while, and I like to do this yearly because as a trader, you're always supposed to be growing, learning from yourself, adapting to the overall market. As you can see, the overall market has been basically dropping. We went from the highs of 479, which you can see over here, and we're sitting at the lows of 386. Now let's get into it. Now, first things first, as I hover my mouse and I move it left to right and I move it up and down, you can see the price change on the right side over here. It follows me. Also, everything is dated and timed on this chart. I actually started off on my 180-day 4-hour chart. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Let's talk about how to set up your TD Ameritrade. So if you go over here, there's this kind of wheel over here. You click on it. This is how I have mine set up. I have show orders, show studies, highlight studies on hover. Just make sure your TD Ameritrade is set up just like this. I unclicked this one. It said overlapping volume. I don't like my volume to be interfering or in the background of my candles when I'm trading. Over here, if we go to price access, I didn't really change nothing much with here. Just double check with yours as well. Give you some time so you guys could check with that. Next one, time access. So this one I did change the expansionary area. I put it to 1,000. And what that basically does is, say if I didn't have it to 1,000, I wouldn't be able to pan over to the right over here. It basically stopped me at this zone. And I like to basically have enough freedom to move the chart around. Next one, we're going to talk about favorite time frames, right? So I have a few different time frames I use. I have the 1 minute, 1 day. I have the 1 day, 2 minute, 5 day, 5 minute, 5 day, 3 minute, 5 day, 10 minute, 20 day, 1 hour, 180 day, 4 hour, 1 year, 1 day. I have the 1 year, 1 week, 3 year, 1 day, 5 day, 15 minute, and 5 year, 2 day. So you could add these time frames over here. You just click here, add the time frame, click add. You could also remove them as well too. I'll explain what time frames I use for day trading, what time frames I use for swing trading later on in this video. Now, next go to appearance. This is just my preference, how I have these set up. I like to have the candles filled. I like to basically have the grid over here. You could basically color the background, show the color as symbol ticks. So every time this is going to be positive, right? The candle is going to be green. If there's negative selling pressure, the candle is going to be red. And that's pretty much it. The background, I did change the background to black. I think it looks a lot better black, makes the candle stick out more for me. It's just personal preference on how you want your candlesticks and your background to appear when you are trading. Next, equities. I didn't change anything for the last, all of these. I did not change nothing. So if you want, double check with yours, make sure it's the same as mine. Well, that's pretty much it, right? So when you're moving around on this TD Ameritrade platform, there is what's called a toolbox down here. You could click over here. It has the price symbol over here. I don't use too many stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here that you may not be even be using. But I use the one that says pan. That's the one to basically move the chart left to right. And then if we go back to the toolbox, this is probably the main one I like to use. Price level. This is like, it shows up as a little pencil. You could basically zoom in to see what's going on exactly with that candle or with this certain area as you're doing your chart analysis. And then I like to use this one too. It says trend line. So trend line is pretty cool. So without direction, we are going nowhere fast, right? So trend line, once you guys get to your support and resistance lesson, you could basically do trend lines. Now we can see that, hey, we're looking at ticker SPY, which is overall on a downward trend. So until this trend is broken, then we could confirm it's on a bullish trend. Well, that's a different lesson, but that's what the trend line is for. Another cool thing about the one that says price level, not only that I could zoom in, but if I just double click on a certain area, you can see I could make a support line. And then once I find my resistance, I could basically double click and I have my resistance line over here. Now, if you wanted to get rid of either one of these lines, you just right click and you could click remove. But say, hey, I want to see Let me zoom out over here. And there's magnifying glasses over here where you could zoom in and zoom out. Let's say if I'm looking up here, right? I found the resistance level up here and I want to expand it all the way to the left. So you could just right click over here, expand it to the left, and now you could have your support resistance. And you can see, wow, dated it in time and the past in December, this same area, this 462 area has acted as support and it acted as resistance, leading to this huge sell-off, which is crazy, right? Overall, that's pretty much all I use over here. There's this rectangle thing where if you want to basically highlight a certain area, say if you want to do that, you can change the color of it. I don't really use that, only for teaching purposes, but that's pretty much it when it comes to that. Now there are basically lots of helpful tools on TD, right? If you want to type in a ticker, you could type in the ticker over here. Basically, if I wanted to look at Tesla, if I wanted to look at Apple, you could just basically type in the code and it basically pops up over there. And that's pretty much cool as well too. Time and sales, so TS, you should see it on your right hand side over here. TS is basically time and sales. So time and sales, very cool. I like to see the buying and selling pressure, right? Green is people buying, red is selling pressure. Gives you more motivation when you're in a trade, right? Now let's switch over to a different ticker. Let's say we're looking at Tesla, right? There's a feature on here that's very cool that if I'm looking at Tesla and Tesla's moving really quick and I want to see what's going on with Tesla, you could easily go to news over here and see quick news updates, whether Tesla has good news or negative news, and you can see from here and make your decision from that as well too. And that's pretty much it on what I use on this main screen over here. There's different charts that I use when it comes into day trading, right? Like I said, I use multiple time frames, right? Time frames are very important when it comes into trading. Say if I want to clear up everything, I could just right click over here, right? Scroll down, go to clear drawing set, and now everything will basically be erased, right? So there's different time frames I use for different types of trading. Oh, Spy's making a little low. So there's different time frames I use for different type of trading. The 180-day is going to be a directional chart for me, and the 20-day is going to be a directional chart. So overall, I like to look at my bigger picture to get the overall move of where the stock is going to go. Now, if I want to go for a swing trade, or if I want to go for a swing trade, I'm going to focus more on the 180-day and the 20-day. I want them both to be facing in the same direction. Now, for my day trades, I like to day trade either on my 15-minute, my 5-day, 5-minute. This is going to be one of my day trading charts where I can see the overall meat of the move or where that stock is going. 15 minutes is a lot of time for a candle to pop up. So sometimes I compare that with either a 5-minute or even a 1-minute time frame. So how do I set up my indicators? What indicators do I use, right? So if you want to add any indicators to your chart, this is what the indicators that I'm using. And you could also save these indicators and save it as a set. So this is basically the set that I like to use. Now, as I started trading, I kind of strayed away from the VWAP. I used to use the VWAP a lot, but now I use basically this set right here, which is basically the moving exponential, simple moving average, MACD, and RSI. Like to keep the chart very clean and very simple. These are the key indicators that I use. And if I just click apply over here, make sure you add these studies. You just type it in over here where it says studies, right? Go to the test tube. This thing pops up. Type in these studies that I have over here and they'll pop up. You click apply. Have them set up the way I do. If you want to, it's up to you, but have them. This is how I have mine set up. I think the only one that I edited was the simple moving average. I had extended it to length 180. So now once you do, you click apply, and now you have your chart set up like me. So this is a cool way how I have my chart set up. Now you could have your MACD, your RSI, your EMA, which all helps me make my trading decisions every day in the chat room, every day when I'm going for a trade. These are the indicators I use, right? So, and that's a whole separate lesson on basically how to use these indicators. But these are the indicators that I use in general. Now, over here is pretty cool. on TD Ameritrade, there's a little box over here, and you could have actually, when I'm trading, instead of looking at multiple screens, I could look at one screen or whatever I want to do. But now I could basically compare and contrast, right? As a trader, you want to compare and contrast multiple charts to make your decision, make sure you're making a sound decision, right? I want to look at my 20-day and 180-day for direction. And once I figure out my direction on those larger charts, I want to drop down towards my day trading charts, whether it be 15-minute, 5-minute, or a 1 minute, right? So as you can see, I have them paired up over here, and you could basically save them as a grid, right? So TD Ameritrade is very odd. Let's say if I want to find direction for the SPY, right? So you see I clicked on, I have them labeled 20-day, 180 days. So automatically it's going to pop up to two screens. I have my 20-day on one side, and I got my 180-day on the other side. And I can quickly compare and contrast and find my support. I can find my resistance levels, right? I could basically do my thing over here. And now everything's all set, and then I can execute my trades any which way I want. Whether typically I take trades off my phone. But the thing I wanted to tell you guys is there's 3 boxes over here. You could have as many boxes as you want. You could have 6 boxes. I normally do 3 boxes. I'm doing this video at the wrong time. Anywho, it's 3 boxes. If you don't do 3 boxes, it's going to be kind of odd, where this box is like the leader box. So I normally just push it over and then save it. This way you don't have that leader box, because you could do basically a detach over here, and you click detach, and now you could have multiple charts up where I could have my 20-day, 180-day. I could have my 5-minute and my 15-minute on a separate detach. So that's pretty cool too, especially if you're using one monitor, or especially if I'm trading off my laptop. That is very helpful, where I could have multiple detaches, and that helps me. So right now, say I already got my direction, right? Right now we're looking at the SPY. It's crossed down on the 180-day. The 20-day looks like it's about to flip to a bearish position right now. And now say if I want to look for it to see, hey, if it's a good time to get into this trade, right? I could drop down towards my 10-minute, 15-minute. These are day trading charts that I use as well too. And I always like to keep that 15-minute. That 15-minute becomes my new like 20-day, 180-day, like a directional chart. And then I could basically switch over, say, hey, say if I want to enter on my 5-minute, I could wait for my 5-minute to look right. Or say if I want to be very direct and I want to go for a quick scalp, I could enter on my 1-minute, see what my 1-minute's looking like. No doubt, with the market we're seeing right now, I think the SPY definitely wants to come back to that 386 level. Other than that, TD is pretty cool as well too. I have a separate video on the on-demand feature, so I want you guys to check that video out as well. And that's basically when it comes into paper trading. As a trader, you always want to basically always be learning, right? You always want to be learning, always growing, always trading, and journaling yourself, right? So journaling yourself, see what you did wrong the previous day or your previous trades, and try to better yourself every day. That's going to help with growth as well. There's another video I have as well on basically how I set up my TD Ameritrade scanner. So definitely check that video out as well too, on how I set my scanner. But this video was simply the updated version on how I use TD Ameritrade today in 2022. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys have a good day. I'm missing out on some possible good trades, possibly going to take the break of this low over here. So I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and stay green.